Hi, I'm Annalise, and I'm going to introduce our group's presentation about addictive disorders. Addictive disorders are characterized by the craving and use of substances that affect the pleasure center of the brain, which causes excessive dopamine to be released upon use of the substance. Use of these substances alters the brain structure and function, resulting in inhibition of self-control and decision-making processes. Symptoms of addictive disorders include denial, lying about alcohol or drug use, avoidance of friends and family, believing that substance abuse is necessary for fun, and feelings of depression, hopelessness, or suicidal ideation. In this seminar, we will focus on two forms of addictive disorders, alcoholism and opioid addiction. In this first scenario about alcoholism, Maddie will be playing a client in denial, and Erin will be playing her nurse.
My name is Erin, and I'm going to be your nurse for today. What brings you in?
Hi, I'm not really sure why I'm here today. Well, my sister found me in the yard last night and thinks I have a drinking problem, but I don't. I just had a little bit to drink with my friends. My sister said that she would kick me out if I didn't get some help, so.
Has anything like this ever happened to you before?
Sometimes I have a few drinks and I get really tired, but I feel like that happens to everybody.
And how many drinks do you usually have a day? Do you use any other substances?
Oh, like a few during the day, during the week. Obviously more on the weekends, like everybody else, but no other substances.
Have you ever felt that you should cut down on your drinking at all?
Not personally, but my annoying sister thinks that I should.
Does your sister annoy you when she criticizes your drinking?
Absolutely. I barely drink at all compared to her friends, and she has no right to judge me.
It must be difficult to feel judged like that.
It is. I feel like I don't deserve it. There are so many people that are worse off than me.
Have you ever felt guilty after drinking?
I mean, nothing more than the Sunday scaries. I don't worry about it because it's not like I'm addicted or anything.
Do you ever have a drink in the morning to steady your nerves or get rid of a hangover?
I mean, yeah, you can't get hungover if you're always drunk. A little buzz helps me get through the day anxiety-free, and I don't see anything wrong with that.
You just mentioned anxiety. Do you often feel anxious?
Yes, I do almost every day, but alcohol makes me feel a lot more confident.
Sometimes people use substances like alcohol to manage anxiety symptoms. Is there any other ways that you relieve your anxiety?
I guess listening to music and FaceTiming with my friends. They always listen and seem to help me with my problems. Now that I think about it, they do sometimes mention my drinking habits and try to slow me down when we're together.
It sounds like you do have a lot of supportive people in your life who are concerned about you. I'd like to discuss some anxiety coping mechanisms that will help you to avoid drinking, if that's okay with you. It sounds like listening to music and being with your friends might be a great place to start. I can also refer you to a few support groups when you're ready for that.
I guess that would be okay. I may need to start and get some help and get back on track.
Okay, great.
Hi, I'm Nu. I will be talking about the therapeutic communication technique that were used. In this scenario, the client was denial about their alcohol addiction. In order to evaluate the client's alcohol addiction, the nurse used the CAGE tool, which is a series of 4 questions that are used to assess for alcohol dependency in a less intrusive manner. The nurse used the therapeutic communication technique of a broad opening and offering generalities. This allows the client to share about what brought them in. The nurse also used the technique of focusing and asking direct questions when discussing the client's drinking habit. The nurse shared empathy with the client's perception of being judged. Additionally, the nurse used presenting reality by encouraging the client to acknowledge that they may have an issue with alcohol dependency. Finally, the nurse encouraged the client to formulate a plan of action, including using other methods to treat their anxiety.
In this next scenario about opioid addiction, Hunter will be playing the client and Jenny will be playing the nurse.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm going to be your nurse today. Can I ask you what brings you here?
Hey Jenny, well, I just got out of the hospital yesterday. I recently overdosed on my pain medication, and I'm completely clean right now, but I'm kind of feeling a little helpless on staying that way.
Okay, can you tell me more?
I'm mostly concerned because I have family and kids have been through a lot already, and I just know that I can't do it on my own, so I came here for additional support.
Yeah, so I want to start out by saying that coming here is a great first step, and thank you for sharing some of your story with me. Have you ever tried sobriety before?
I have several times on my own, but I feel like it never lasts. Um, it's honestly like a very big issue for my family. They seem to think it's more of an issue than I do, but I feel very like overwhelmed with that. So I'm trying to seek alternatives.
Yeah, that must feel awful.
Yeah, I just feel like I'm on my own with this. They don't seem to understand that I need the pain medication for my back, and sometimes life gets a little overwhelming too. So it's about the only thing that helps sometimes.
Hmm. So maybe we could work together and make a treatment plan for you to get you some sobriety maintenance.
Yeah, I think that might be helpful, but then again, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't want to be in a group of addicts right now. Like I don't really see myself as an addict, but so I don't really think support groups are like my thing.
Well, we can sit here and talk more for a while, and then I can tell you more about the program. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, I'd be open to that.
The nurse started by asking a broad question to give the client a chance to explain in their own words what has been going on and their concerns. The nurse then asked the client to continue when they began to open up with emotions related to the substance use. The nurse also used empathy when the client mentioned that he feels like his family is out to get him. The nurse suggested collaboration by asking the client if he would be willing to work together to create a treatment plan. The client says that he is unsure about how helpful the program would be, so the nurse utilized silence to help the client continue with his thoughts and feelings. The nurse ends up by offering self after the client states that he'd be more comfortable in a one-on-one meeting rather than a group meeting right now.